Peace, Alina. Derek Akbar Muhammad John Trey. Alright. In the divine name of the Supreme Being, I want to greet everyone with a civilized greeting in a very uncivilized time. Hotep, shalom, peace, what's good, what's popping, what it be, what it do, whatever greetings that you go by. Alright. Alright. Hold on a second. Alright. Peace to Soleil. Love you to life. You know that. Peace. Stacy Smith. Alright. Charlotte Abdul Malik Muhammad. Michael Muhammad. Derek Singleton. Soleil, don't start, man. For real. Peace to everyone. Ty, Jason, Gemini. Everybody on Google Hangout. Peace to Ren, RBG, L-rated, I guess, yeah. Kill Moves Records, peace, fam. Alright, I'm gonna try to dive into this like as, what's the word I'm looking for? As sensible as possible. Alright, trying to kind of, after everything that's been going on this week, which I'm going to talk about on the show a little bit later on that I do with Brother Rich. Tonight, I want to mix in old subject with a very new subject. So, shout out to everybody that makes this broadcast possible. Everyone that's given a donation. And there's few people out there that I'm not sure if y'all want to giving me the permission and to go ahead to shout y'all out. If y'all do, just send me a message, text message, whatever. And I'll be glad to do that. I have no qualms about that. Yeah, something's happening with the lighting in here. Hope y'all can see. I know it's kind of yellow, like right here. But anyway, so I'm going to kind of creep up on this subject. It's an old subject I wanted to talk about. Anwar Salah, peace, fam. What's good? I want to talk about an old subject and, like I said, mix it with a new one. So, I talked to my brother Shane, and he sent me a message and asked me what did I want to deal with in order for him to make the flyer. And I said, well, in reflecting back on Dr. Sebi's death, along with knowing and understanding, we went through a period of losing over 100 microbiologists, most of which we don't even know who these people are. So I said, well, let me mix a new subject with an old subject. And then I had to think about it. And you know, I don't have a lot of time to think about it. All I have is a week to think about it. And you cannot thoroughly put a subject together of that magnitude, of that intensity in a week. But what gave me the go ahead to press the send button on the message I had for Shane, and that's the brother who does the flyers, was the fact that 2 judges came up missing. Then we found out that they were murdered. At the same time, the girls in D.C. came up missing. We don't know if they're murdered. So I just said to myself, maybe we could somewhat have the conversation with the people live and get to the bottom of it. Because 2 judges, it's rare that we have black judges. That's number 1. 2, for 2 of them to come up murdered in the same week. Peace to Kamani, alright, and Pernell Martin, alright. I think it's Tracy D. For them to come up missing and then murdered in the same week, that's critical. Alright. So what we want to do right now, just keep in mind, originally I wanted to have a platform where we could do some serious thinking and kind of piece apart some of the subjects, not necessarily the current events, because I already do that with Brother Rich later on, but just pick some subjects that we don't get a chance to kind of converse back and forth with. I know I'm reading messages on Facebook Live and on Google Hangout, but we can still have that dialogue until we have that platform where y'all can be on live via webcam and I can be on live and we can talk to one another. Until we put that platform into place, we have to communicate like this for right now. So, if you have any information dealing with the 2 judges that came up missing and then now dead and murdered, all right, you can get it over to me by just typing it in on Facebook Live or Google Hangout, and then we can dialogue. All right. Kamal Shabazz, speak on it. Those judges got assassinated, but no news coverage. But the Facebook killer in the news all week. That's crazy. True. And what you just said is how most people are thinking right now. They'll divert our attention to one particular subject. And for the gentlemen that keep texting me saying that the Cleveland shooter or the Facebook killer or whatever is not real, it's a false flag. Seriously, man, you made me grab my head a couple of times. Like, stop that. We've seen an elderly man get shot on Facebook in the face. And then your dumb ass come on talking about it's not real. It's a false flag. Stop. Stop that. Seriously. So we're not going to talk about that right now because I'm going to deal with that with Brother Rich a little bit later on. But what we can say about it is that that's a form of mind control at its best. My sister Sherba Griffin just joined on. Peace. When you look at that, how do you kill somebody and you remain that calm? Alright? How do you have a straight face about it? How do you talk so as a matter of factly after murdering someone? And then, according to his own words, after killing 13 or 14 people, it's just like it's okay because you broke up with your girlfriend? Nigga? For real. Spare us. Alright? But I don't want to get wrapped up into that. Because I want to talk about deadly deceits. I want to talk about the whole idea of what information they allow us to have via media, via social media. Alright? If you want to send me subjects or you want to stay in tune with what's going on, send me information at Sirius mindsinfo@gmail.com. Alright? Sirius mindsinfo. If you want to donate to keep the broadcast going so we can develop a new platform so we can communicate in a more effective kind of way, you can go to www.professorgriff.me. That's Master Equality. Alright? ProfessorGriff.me. www.me. Alright? Okay. This whole week, I've been hearing about the Mandela effect. I've been hearing about CERN. I've been hearing about mind control. I've been hearing about Tavistock Institute. I've been hearing about MK Ultra, MK Delta. And I'm not just pulling this stuff from under my arm, y'all. This is the stuff I keep hearing every week. Over and over and over. Alright? Gary Smart says most social media is mind control. If that is the case, then why are we on it all the time? And then if we're on it all the time and it's mind control, then should we be... Someone texted me and hit me up and said, the copycat killer that killed 3 white people in California. Alright? Peace, beloved. Been a long time. We did some shows together. Sinclair Wright brought me around back. Okay, peace. So if social media is mind control, then most of us, excuse my language, are out of our goddamn minds. Because most of you stay with your phone in your face all day, every day, as Outkast would say. You don't put it down for 1 minute to enough to breathe and process. All right. So to my brothers and sisters on Google Hangout, Hazel, Nicole, Lady Gemini, Chris Lee, Karen Smith. Of course, we know the Mandela effect equals the CIA propaganda to discredit internet research. But we have to be able to do internet research and then take it off the internet. Go out in the field, go to the library, and check back in to see whether or not if the information is correct. All right? So there's always a delicate balance here. All right? And let's just be real about it. Let's not get caught up in, we have to do cross-referencing. Shout out to Kim Nicole. I believe it's August 5th. Myself and Soleil will be in Raleigh, Durham area of North Carolina, doing 2 workshops apiece for 2 days. All right, that's real work and real hard. Thank you. But anyway, stay tuned for that, or just go to my website. We'll have the flyer developed, and we'll put the flyer up on Facebook, and of course the website www.pprofessorgriff.me. Of course, if you're just coming on, you're from the Atlanta area, this week I will be in Greenbrier Mall at the bookstore, Madu Bookstore, with my sister Nia. All right, I'll be talking about symbology, kind of going into the book, decoding some things. All right, so yeah, everyone on Google Hangout, sit tight for 1 second. Let me see if I can refresh this page because it just froze up. All right. All right, I think we better now. Mike Larry, Karen Smith. All right, so let's talk about this. So it's microbiologists. All right. This is real time. This is not Professor Griff having a week to prepare. Microbiologists, and I do it this way simply because I want to be able to have a real conversation with people. All right. In real time. I'm not the best knower. All right. How about murdered microbiologists? These are some techniques. Murdered ED biologists. All right. Author theorizes 40 microbiologists killed before unleashing what? Go to rinse.com. Write that down and keep these websites right along next to your computer. www.rense.com. R-E-N-S-E is one of those sites I used to go to all the time back in the day. Rense.com. Author theorizes 40 microbiologists killed before unleashing the ultimate epidemic. All right? So these kind of people that write these kind of things, they're thinking in their mind that there's something coming that the public is unaware of yet. There's something that they're about to unleash. So, but because Nick Begich and other people have given us information that have warned us, Karen Smith, sis, we don't say hello, and then we address the conscious community. If we are conscious, and then we raise the vibrational pitch of our thinking, the first thing we do is develop a warm greeting with one another. Hell-o is not cool. So that's just from me to you, Karen. All right, but there's about 20 ways you can say peace, Karen. Shalom, assalamu alaikum, hotep, shalom, shalom, whatever. Yeah. But and Mike Larry, you come right behind her and you say hello. Funny. You stupid. Anyway, so microbiologists are coming up dead, over 100 now. This author theorized that 40 microbiologists were killed for a particular reason. So then when we dive deeper into it, we can pull up an actual list. And then as Steve Coakley teaches us and have taught us, we could start connecting the dots. Peace to Rodney Hancock, Jamal, Muhammad, Brandon Johnson, my brother. Peace, Brandon. All right. The list of dead microbiologists, over 100 killed or died in mysterious circumstances, all worked in government-funded or highly sensitive research projects. Did anyone actually read the list? Most of them aren't microbiologists. Some died from violent death and others from brain aneurysms and other natural causes. None of the people were at all related. If you look at any profession, especially one as broad as scientists, you will find thousands of deaths worldwide over 10 years. A proportion of these, listen, it's thank you for writing this article and this comment about the article. But if there was 3 microbiologists that died under strange circumstances, that raises a red flag. Peace to my sister in Brooklyn, Khadijah. Peace, Khadijah. Janet Wynn, peace. So even if 3 died, that's it's a red flag. All right. This one says 16. So we have to be able to know how to navigate between the foolishness and the madness on social media in order to make sense of this stuff. All right. Okay. So let's go to yeah, I don't trust that website. Just because you have a website and it looks kind of official, so to speak, I don't trust it. I'm very particular about and plus you got to cross-reference. All right, the deaths of 5 microbiologists, murder, suicide, or accident. All right, I don't trust that one. That look like what those sectarian kind of websites where it's all made up BS. All right, the dead microbiologist list. All right. Preparedforchange.net. All right. Dead scientist. Let's see if they provide a list. Let's go back to rents.com and see if they provide a list. Dead scientists and microbiologists master list. If you see any incorrect dates or errors, please provide me with the accurate information. Marconi scientist mystery. All right. March 1982, Professor Keith Bowen, 46 years old. Expertise computer programmer and scientist at Essex University Exchange. Circumstances of death, fatal car crash. Notice, if you watch these movies now that are coming out, there's nothing beyond the grasp of how they murder people is what I really want to say. However they can do it. Poison your goddamn cereal, or take the lugs loose on your car. So when you're doing 60 miles an hour on the highway, you have an accident. Miss Hafiza, we're not talking about Donald Trump tonight, love. That's another subject at another time, okay? Peace. Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Godley, 49, expertise, head of the work study unit at the Royal College of Military Science. All right. Some of these people were in very critical positions in government and outside of government. Every one of the scientists do not have to be inside in the government, so to speak. Government subcontracts other companies to work with the government. All right, so let's not be foolish and narrow-minded. All right. Who's the murderous organization that went down into Hurricane Katrina, went down into New Orleans, shooting black people in the back? They weren't part of the government. What was their names? Blackwater? The mercenaries. So they weren't quote unquote government, but they worked with the government. I typed in why microbiologists are being killed. Rodney Hancock. Give us the answer, Rodney Hancock. Because 1985, Roger Hill, 49, expertise, radar design, and draftsman with Marconi. Now, Marconi's name came up 3 or 4 times already. Marconi scientist mystery. Professor Keith Bowden, Lieutenant Anthony Godley. These are all Marconi scientists. Computer software engineer with Marconi. Vimel Dejabi, 24 years old. Wow, it's kind of young. All right, circumstances of his death. 74 millimeters under the fall from a Clifton suspicion from a bridge in Bristol. All right, they'll push you in front of a train, throw you up a bridge. while you're not home, go in your refrigerator and poison your Kool-Aid. Yeah. So let's be mindful of this. And Amy, we know they lived off the land, but regardless, they were working along with the government to murder our people in New Orleans. All right. So when we start talking about microbiologists and these people coming up missing, dying, and Simon Harris. Wait, hold on, y'all. I hope it's not the same Simon Harris from England. Simon Harris, let me know if you're the same Simon Harris from Rhythm Method? No, Rhythm, one of the record companies. I forgot which one that I work with in London. If that's the same Simon Harris, peace. So, if we used to understand this correctly and not... Oh, Simon Harris, thanks, man. Long time no hear from. Peace, man. Yeah, hit me up, man. My phone number is 678-557-2919. 678-557-2919. I know, bass, how low can you go? Right? That's a gentleman I used to work with back in 1990, from London, England. Peace, man. Hit me up, man. Email me something. My website is www.professorgriff.me. We'll get up. We'll talk. As you used to say, we'll chat it up, man. We'll chat it up, mate. We'll chat it up, right? All right, cheers. Back to the subject. If we're talking about dead microbiologists, and then, of course, man, the she-rockers. Shout out to the she-rockers. All right, from London. If we're talking about microbiologists and we're talking about scientists, and then they hit you with a right hook with the death of someone like Dr. Sebi, and now it's hitting home, and we tie it in with all the other scientists, naturopathic, homeopathic, holistic doctors that are disappearing, getting shut down, murdered, assassinated, then we can say, okay, now let's tie it in. Peace to Sabir Bey. All right. So somebody said, peace, nice library. Oh, thanks. That's only half of it. Yeah, but thanks. Really appreciate that. Yeah, these are books. I'm not sure if some of the people coming up in the next generation behind us know books. Yeah, these are books. Some people are just YouTube scholars on the internet. I got to cross-reference this stuff with written books by real people. Alright, so, yeah, so, anyway. And then, even before the books, I sat at the feet of the elders. Alright? Some of them made their transition into the ancestral realm now. But that's just my path. We'll talk about that some other time. Now, when the death of Dr. Sebi happened, I said, wait a minute. There was a gentleman I remember who did a really deep research work on the AIDS virus. Can somebody give me his name? Not Dr. Gallo. Robert Strechter. Robert Strechter. Someone Google his name, Robert Strechter. He's even on YouTube. He did a serious science, and he scienced up this whole thing on the AIDS virus and how it wasn't a hoax, but Robert Strechter talked about how it was made in a laboratory in Fort Detrick, Maryland. All right? So let's not act like something very different and strange is going on with the kinds of people that are coming up missing and now dead. Peace to Opio. Opio was the gentleman that I worked with, and she watched Channel Zero, the film. All right. The Strechter Files. Issa A.L. Mahdi said the Strechter Files. Dr. Robert Strechter. Thanks, Michael. Theophil. The Strechter Memorandum is actually called. Peace to Hadia. The StrechterMemorandum.com, Robert Hancock said. www.thestrechtermemorandum.com. His name was Robert Strechter. And he dealt with the AIDS virus. That he said, and a lot of other microbiologists, other people have said, that it was created in a laboratory. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said it was in a book some time ago, The Survey of Chemical and Biological Warfare, up on page, I can't pull it up the top of the dome, but Dr. Francis Cress Welsing mentioned this. She said, how could it be mentioned in the book? And the book is written way before the AIDS virus was even known. All right? It was called the Vervex monkey disease. Vervex meaning green. The green monkey disease. All right? Peace to Carl Muhammad. I don't know what that link is, bro. Put something in there so we'll know what you're talking about. All right? So, Robert Strechter, Sean Carter said, the Strechter memorandum talks about the bio-attack alert and how they would use certain viruses and certain epidemics to kill off high masses of people and high numbers of people. All right? Once these scientists were coming up with this particular information and letting the public know, all right, these scientists, just like Robert Strechter, and who's the gentleman that wrote Behold the Pale Horse? William Cooper. They took out William Cooper. They assassinated and murdered Dr. Sabi. All right, they killed Robert Strechter. I believe they had their hands in the death of Steve Coakley. All right. So we have to be very diligent and very mindful of the tactics and the techniques they use to not only murder but neutralize. All right, neutralize scientists. So if microbiologists are coming up dead, and some brave people, whether they white, black, Jew, Gentile, Christian, Muslim, don't make me no difference. All right? If they put out a list and we can begin to connect the dots on who these people are and what they were responsible for. And if 5 or 10 of them worked for one company, we need to see and look into that. That's what researchers do. All right? Shout out to Stacy Smith. That's what we do. Shout out to Stutter Man. Sean DeVore. All right. So present the information. Be factual. Share it with the masses of the people on social media. We're responsible for one another. All right. Now, let's think if these microbiologists were left alive to teach and educate the masses of the people. Shout out to my man Uno from Boston, Jamal Crawford. Let's just say if they were alive today, imagine the amount of information we were allowed to have and get from these individuals. So when we watch the Alphabet Boys on CNN and MTV and the bobbleheads, when they start talking about Syria, Assad dropped a bomb on his own people, and it was nerve gas or chemical warfare, then those scientists would be able to say, well, what kind of nerve gas or what kind of chemical warfare was it? And we would be able to say, okay, well, does Assad stockpile this kind of chemical warfare? And we'd be able to make an intelligent decision on whether or not the United States government is lying to you, lying to us, framing Assad, or just doing some just straight out, plain old outright fuckery. All right? So, for these gentlemen to come up missing, all right, should raise a red flag in your mind. Just like it raised a red flag in your mind when 15 black girls come up missing in the DMV area, Washington, D.C. or the Baltimore area. All right? So we have to be very mindful of how the government works. All right? Okay. So now, microbiologists, I'm trying to find a list. If someone can let me know where to go, find a very factual list right now. Rashad Sharif Muhammad, peace, eugenics times 1,000. You correct. SteveQuayle.com. 3 scientists investigating melting Arctic ice. We can't talk about that right now, Steve. You got a whole bunch of stuff on your site, Mr. Quayle. We have to get back with you. All right? www.mindz.com. Newsfeed. List of dead microbiologists. All right? We are researching real time, y'all. Sadiq Muhammad. Ed Houslim's book, Dr. Mary's Monkey, also describes in detail how they weaponized the polio vaccine. Yes, of course. Derek Easton Jr. Peace. How you feel, man? All right. Some of these websites take forever to come up. The best kind of websites are the ones that you can pull up real quick so we can see exactly what's happening. U.S. enrolls volunteers in largest test of possible Zika vaccine. No, we want to know who created the Zika virus first. All right? Are you rich enough to live forever? Yep, The Walking Dead. I'm not talking about the television show. I'm talking about these people that have some of these designer drugs that you see late at night. These infomercials that come on. I forgot some of the name of them, but it's some crazy names, and the side effects will kill you probably more than the drug will, and it's critical, man. Shirley J. Carter, peace. My man John Trey. All right, so let's go back now. Let's find a decent list. Dead scientist lists. All right. I hate to go to some of these religious sites because they get crazy. Because at the end of the article, beginning, middle, and end, they say, well, they wouldn't have died if they would accept the Lord Jesus Christ is there. Stop that. Stop. So now we're going to go to one of the conspiracy theory sites and see what they're talking about over here. It says 125 dead scientists, 72 dead bankers. Wow. They're killing bankers and scientists. Anyone that will blow the whistle. All right? Anyone that will blow the whistle. I'm not excluded from that. You're not excluded from that. All right? No, Chris Lee, you absolutely correct on Google Hangout, man. Hashtag Get Out, the movie. You're right. They were doing lobotomies, man. Cutting people's heads open and taking the parts that they want and putting it inside of white people. So what you had walking around was white black people and black white people. What was the deeper science behind that? All right. So Rashad Sharif Muhammad says the CDC and the FDA are in on it. Yes, they're in on it. No denying that. No denying that. We're not letting any of them off the hook. All right. We don't want to see dead conspiracy stuff, dead scientist conspiracy stuff. All right. We want a list. All right. 1947 Rockefeller patent shows the origins of the Zika virus. Rodney Hancock. Wow. 1947, huh, Rodney? Rockefeller patent shows origins of the Zika virus. Missing so-called blacks equal the source for melanin injections. I mean, we could look at it that way, and that's very plausible. Dick Gregory talked about that. And it talked about how Dr. Dick Gregory talked about how the missing and murdered children came up shortly after that. All this melanin cream and melanin injections and melanin pills and all this stuff started being available on different websites and television commercials. All right? Dead scientists. That's video. We can't watch that. Let's look at WikiLeaks. Dead scientists. Found a long listing of authorized transmission. Apparently someone thinks a doctor located in Newton system is in a grave danger. Unfortunately, some of this is real time. Yeah. Some of this stuff is real time. I'm not going to give you all that site because some of these sites that I go on, it drops certain cookies in your computer, and then later on the government or the CIA contacts you. Even though they're not supposed to be working on American soil, they still contact you. 300 a gram for melanin. Wow. Scientists are being threatened at the CDC. Dr. William Thompson said CDC lied to Congress about vaccines. Louis Muhammad said that. Yes, and they've been lying for a long time. And this is very real when you start looking at the overall, the overall scheme of things. When you start talking about the people that have died and the information that they have left us with. This information that y'all see behind me is in the head and in the hearts of some of those elders that the government is killing. We shouldn't say the government is killing them because that's like indicting them before we even have the trial. Somebody's killing them. All right? It's not those of us that really want the information. It's those of us that the information will affect if the information got out. All right? William Iron Knight. They've been lying about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment for a long time. Someone Googled the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. And let's people on Google Hangout and Facebook Live, let's just be patient with one another because sometimes some people are on and they're unaware of any of this stuff that we've mentioned. They may not know who a Dick Gregory is or Steve Coakley or Tuskegee syphilis experiment or Harriet Washington's book. What's the name of Harriet Washington's book? The Medical Apartheid. They may not know. All right. So we have to be able to. Kenyonia, peace, Queen, for signing on. Thanks, really appreciate that. So we have to understand this particular dynamic, and deal with it in such a real way instead of a conspiratorial, with that conspiratorial kind of mindset. Because once you go there, they tend to want to dismiss us. Once we take it there. Once we start talking about conspiracy theory and this kind of thing, they tend to want to dismiss you. All right? And of course, Black Econ Power Broker talked about Henrietta Lacks. I think there's a movie that Oprah is in, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. The story in the story of Henrietta Lacks, am I correct? With Oprah that's coming out. So, why now would an Oprah go back and dig up the story of a Henrietta Lacks when I'm sure this information was given to her years and years ago? All right? So we should be very mindful. I could pull some books off the shelf to give you all an idea of some of the, we talk problem. And a lot of people hit me up and say, well, what's the solution? All right, so let me see. Sacred Woman, all right, solution, all right, real-time solutions. The thing is, you got to take the book off the shelf, read it, and go into it, all right? Let me see. Solution. Drugs masquerading as food. How they weaponize the food. Alright? Dr. Suzar. Alright, Dr. Suzar. African Holistic Health. Dr. Leila Africa. Alright? Some of y'all, shame on y'all, how not to eat pork. Alright? How not to eat pork. Hell, if you still eating pork, you got a real issue for real. Seriously, man. As a matter of fact, some of y'all, you never drove by a farm and looked at a cow and got hungry. Right or wrong? If that's the case, why don't you cut the restaurant out as the middleman, pull your car over, hop the goddamn fence, and go buy the cow on the ass or some shit if you're that goddamn hungry. For real. But anyway. Some of y'all who really and only can get this information from white people. A Diet for a New America. All right, John Robbins. I read this book and had the pleasure of meeting some people that sat in a couple of his groups that he was running. And this is actually, I believe, John Robbins is actually the son of the guy from Baskin Robbins. All right. Took some of that wealth that his dad kind of amassed and started teaching some positive things and giving some serious instructions. I'm not like some of y'all. I don't get caught up into the whole black thing. All my information has to come from a black person. I'm black. I got a black filter. I'm fine. If I can extract information regardless of where I get it from, I'm good. I'm not hung up on that. And you shouldn't be hung up on it either. All right? I'm seeking knowledge from the cradle to the grave. All right? For real. All right, so that's just some of the things. It's just too much to pull down. AIDS, animals in the digestive system. All right, most of these things that these microbiologists, these scientists, these holistic health healers and doctors and practitioners. They didn't die from natural causes. If you look up and you read some of the ways that they died and were murdered. They were murdered, actually. Pardon me. We're talking about a bullet in the back of the head. That's assassination. All right. We're talking about a car getting ran off the road. All right. These are the kind of things that we're talking about when we start to go into. We start talking about the microbiologists. All right. Shout out to my man Supreme Understanding. All right. Why don't you just start with one book? If you get that one book, you can kind of go from there, man. You understand what I'm saying? It'll lead you to the other books. And remember, if you're doing YouTube research, you have to take notes and then come off of YouTube and do cross-referencing. All right? Don't send me information if you just heard one lecture on what one person said on one website or on one YouTube clip and you think that's the end all to be all. No, you have to cross-reference. All right? You truly have to cross-reference. All right? It's some work, but we have to do that. No such thing as natural causes and suicides. You're right. All assassinations. Don't mess with their bottom line. Wow. You're right. Jah the bearded one. If you mess with their bottom line, they're coming to get you. But if you're trying to get your livid together and eradicate your diet, all right, start with one book, and this one book has references in it to lead you to some of the other books. All right? Yeah. You know how sometimes you're watching YouTube and you listen to one, you're listening to one lecture, and then it'll have suggestions of what else to listen to. The same with Amazon and Google. You go research a book and it says, this reader would also may be interested in these 5 other books. Well, that's how you have to do it, all right? What is the AIDS book? The AIDS book. Someone asked me, what is the AIDS book? I'm sorry if I'm freestyling this, but I think this is a lot better than me just reading stuff off my screen. Animals in your digestive system. How to avoid disease nutritionally. All right. As I've learned from Soleil, most of our diseases start in our minds and in our spirits. All right. long before you physically get sick. It's always there. It's how we think. All right. So, and yes, Hazel Nicole, you're absolutely correct. We can actually heal ourselves. And this is but you got to get rid of that animal that you keep putting in your mouth. You gotta be able to master that fork and that knife and that damn spoon. You understand what I'm saying? Some of us are eating ourselves to death. And I'm going to reiterate this, that the microbiologist on a higher level, all right, was giving us warnings. Unlike Dr. Sebi, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, other people were warning us in a different kind of way. All right? John Trey says we need to go back to the ancient way. All right? Well, in order to trace yourself back to that ancient way, there's going to be some stumbling blocks and some roadblocks and some hurdles in the way. All right? Isa A.L. Mahdi said colloidal silver. Well, what does colloidal silver do? See, when we just put colloidal silver, a lot of people that are just coming on, that's trying to get themselves together, that's in transition, don't know, Isa. We really appreciate that. But yeah, you're right. Just saying colloidal silver, someone may write that down and begin to do the research. But we need to know what that's for. Hell, me and Soleil was at a juice bar an hour or so ago. And, you know, we were looking at the different names of the juices. We want to know, like, what's in it? What's the properties in the juice, the smoothie that we're getting, that, you know, colloidal silver and alkaline water are good to keep your system clean. Thanks, bro. That's all we needed to know. We got you. Nano colloidal silver and gold. Okay? Got it. B-Sun, it heals the immune system. All right, see, this is the kind of information that we know, that we need to know to share with the people. See, the knowers are here, and they're meeting us halfway. And now we can pass this information on to the other people that's on here, that's just listening and watching, that don't know. If we are light beings, can't we get our food source from the sun? Yeah, but you still need to eat. Shit. The plants and the vegetables and the herbs get their food source from the sun, of course, but we still need to eat. That's just the way we're built. Nomad Jersey. Yeah, but that's true, but yeah, we have to eat. Kim Nicole, that's the key. Working on changing the way I eat. All right? So now, let's shift gears, because I do need some information on these 2 black judges that were murdered. All right? For the few minutes that we have left. All right? Black judges that, I don't know, murdered. Chicago judge killed, man charged with the murder. That's on CNN. Why are black judges being murdered? Coalition of the obvious. All right, that's a WordPress. The police were investigating how she ended up in the river, and it was not clear how long. Judge Abdus Salam. Wow, she was a Muslim. See, someone even said this is ethnic cleansing, with the amount of black men that they're shooting down in the country, with the amount of black girls coming up missing, with the amount of black men coming up missing and organs missing, with the amount of people that are ethnic cleansing. Pizzagate, child trafficking, refugee smuggling, Soros, Obama, Gladio Project. The Gladio Project. Judge Raymond Miles, 66. Police said the couple was targeted. We do not believe the attempted robbery. It was attempted robbery. It's random. Nor do we believe Smith acted alone. They said this guy Smith was in concert with someone that robbed Judge Raymond Miles. I don't know, y'all. Get me to understand something. When I think of somebody that carry a lot of money with them, that anybody would think about robbing, it's not a judge. When I hear something like this happen to a judge, it's either revenge, or you sentence my mama, my grandmother, my Day-Day, and Man and Twan and Peanut and them to 35 years in prison, or my homeboy, or whatever. I don't think judges carry a lot of money. I mean, y'all talk to me. Tell me if I'm just too far to the left. So I'm just not, yeah. It says we can become breatharians, Shay Thomas. Well, why don't you try that and you come back and tell us how it works? All right. Chris Lee said eating the sun. No. If you want to become a breatharian, Shay Thomas, try it and then give me a call and let me know how that works out. 678-557-2919. All right. So, the attempted robbery is random, nor do we believe that Smith acted alone. Staples said, adding the shooting was not connected to Miles being a judge. Wow. Staples would not say whether police think Smith, who has served 6 years in prison for armed robbery, was the gunman. So, peace to Khalid El Hakim. All right, working on the artifactual film. Peace. So what they're trying to say, that the two judges, the Muslim sister that they found in the river and Judge Miles, is definitely not related. Just like they told us that Dr. Sebi's death is not related to the microbiologist. Yeah. It's going to take some more research for us to look into this to get an idea how we're going to piece apart the truth. All right? So it's their truth, it's our truth, and then there's the truth. And we need to understand that, man. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Lee. I said it as a question. I ain't no sun eater. Okay. I apologize for that, Chris Lee. We know you're not a sun eater. All right. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah. So in looking at these particular things, we have to be very mindful of how we connect the dots. Steve Coakley gave us that beautiful methodology that we have to now implement in our research. All right. We should, none of us, not Griff, I'm not going to mention any names, none of us should be cocky, heady, high-minded. It's about me in this research that we do, in this mission that we have. It's best for us to be humble so the Creator can work with us and work through us. All right? Let's not come off like we're the know-it-alls. All right? The more I know, the more that I know that I don't know. All right? And that's just real. Most diseases physically start in the colon. As gross as it may seem to some, enemas were in some in the early medical books for healing. They removed the teachings. Thanks, Hazel. Strawberry Quick, a judge taking a payoff in the dark. Damn, Strawberry, I don't know if I need to read this. That sounds like a stripper's name, but I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're a stripper, but I'm saying Strawberry Quick, a judge taking a payoff in the dark light parking garage, might have a lot of money on them, but other than a judge moves about town just like most of us do. Yeah, you're right, Strawberry Quick. Yeah, I'm just saying. Peace to Sean Muhammad. Thanks to Phaedra for joining us. Actually, an hour late, but that's cool. Danny Malone, we about to sign off, y'all. But listen, let's understand something. As they said in the movie, Wesley Snipes, we all we got, CMB, the Cash Money Brothers. You understand what I'm saying? We have to be able to sharpen one another's swords to get this information out to our people. All right? I wouldn't trust just relying on just Professor Griff once a week, every Wednesday night for an hour to get all my information. All right? We have to cross-reference. We have to stay in touch with one another. All right, most of y'all have my phone number, 678-557-2919. Most of y'all can text me some information for me to look up. If you're going to send me a YouTube clip, make sure you'll tell me what it is, because I'm not just picking up my phone, clicking on random-ish. All right, for real. Let me know what it is. All right? And if you're going to text me, don't send me no long 3-page text on my phone. I'm not reading that. For real. But this is that day and age where we have to utilize and take advantage of social media to help educate one another. I am because we are, therefore I am. Can 20 people text that in right quick so everybody can see it? I am because we are, therefore I am. One more time. I am because we are, therefore I am. That's the way we're going to get through this. All right? We have to be able to educate one another. Professor, even though this is my network and my show, I'm not the best knower in the room. I'm facilitating it. I'm creating a platform so that we can have this discussion. All right? There are many people on Facebook Live right now, and coming up, Strawberry Quick, I know you're not a stripper. I know the strawberry is probably for something else, and the quick is for quick-minded. We got you. All right? Anyway, but I do see the strawberry shake there. Anyway, I'm just saying, I am because we are, therefore I am. All right? We are alike. All right? So we have to be able to educate one another. Some people are just making transition into the conscious realm. All right? And we need to bring those people along step by step. All right? And that's real. And be able to go back like we used to do back in the day and care for one another like we used to. This is the village. This is the block that we live on right now. And we have to begin to approach it just in that way. All right? Let's be real. Let's humble ourselves. Let's get the people with the lip service and the naysayers out of the way so we can take care of this bit of business, y'all. For real. All right? It's about getting this information out there. Most of us are going to get left behind because we just don't have access to the information. All right? I ran into a gentleman today that he just has a total media blackout. He don't do no media. He don't do any media. I know it's a double negative. But I'm saying, wow, bruh. Even if I just watch the news every once in a while, I got to know what's going on in the world. Even if it's the fake news. At least I can take that and cross-reference it with the real news and come up with something. All right? So let's be mindful of this. Let's be very thoughtful about one another and our growth. All of us are coming up out of Christianity. All of us are coming up out of them putting the death of the spirit and the soul of the black man and woman to death, and we're resurrecting ourselves. All right? A lot of us are just waking up, coming out of the mud, wiping the gook out of our eyes, wiping the mud off of us. All right? This is not the station or the network or the channel for y'all to come on and start believing stuff. This is not the belief channel. We don't do that here. If you're in that belief kind of mode, we're going to move you past and beyond belief into the knowing phase of this thing. All right? So we could become knowers. And then we can exchange the information so we can begin to look out for one another. The talk that I'm going to do in Raleigh, North Carolina is preparedness. And I'm going to demonstrate the black pack. All right? And what you should have in your black pack. All right? And then I'm going to do a lecture on symbology. I'm not sure what Soleil is going to teach right now. Maybe she could put it up before we end this. Something having to do with... I'm going to let her tell you. But anyway, conversations and lectures and coming together to talk about these things we need to talk about. All right? Time out for coming to the lectures, grandstanding and trying to get off. No, we don't need that. All right? Plain and simple. I have a habit of staying in my lane. And I'm letting those that have a specialty in talking about what they talk about, that's good. You're right. We need basic, truthful, conscious information to hand out like the Jehovah Wickedness. You're right. We need to do that. All right? So, it's about time for me to step away from the microphone. All right? Like I always say, I love y'all to life. I'm creating a platform that we'll be able to do this via webcam. All of us, 50, 60 people on webcam talking to one another. All right? To get the information out there. I want to thank everybody for the donations. You can go to www.professorgriff.me. All right? And send your support, your donations. I don't care if it's a dime, $1, food stamp, Captain Crunch coupon. It don't make no damn difference. All right? We gotta keep this up and running and moving. All right? I love y'all to life, man. Revolution is not an event. It's a process. All right. I thank everybody for sending in any kind of donation. Anybody that's bought the books, Symbology. All right. I love you all to life. I'll see y'all in Baltimore, Maryland this Saturday. All right. Baltimore, Maryland this Saturday. I'll put the flyer up on my Facebook page and on my website. All right. I love you all to life. This is Professor Griff. I'm signing out. Love you, Soleil. All right. Well, peace, y'all. I'm out. It's Professor Griff. Revolution is not an event. It's a process. All right. Peace.